Hello, how are you? Now, this vlog's going to be rather interesting because I'm doing it out on my balcony, so you might hear the traffic going past at some points, and you may hear the revellers coming out of the pub that's just up the corner on William Street. So you might hear them coming out. So don't be distracted too much. Just piss heads. I thought I'd do this vlog on the situation I currently find myself in with my mental health, in the sense that with Bubba's passing, with my brother dying, there's been a lot of stress going on, and quite recently something else happened that I don't want to go into too much detail about that also really shook me and put me into a very stressful place. It's difficult to talk about times like this, but you sort of, when you've been suffering from mental health problems as long as I have, and it's been since childhood, but not really diagnosed until I was about 21, and I've had a learning difficulty, and that wasn't really diagnosed until I was 24, after an educational psychologist tested me. So I've had a bit of an interesting life, and it's been a bit up and down, and it's been quite stressful, and it's been quite upsetting at times. But I found myself in a place where I could sort of, with my depression, I can basically cope as well as anybody can be expected. I still suffer from baggage anxiety, so going into town, going shopping, doing things like that can be difficult. Sometimes my mind's not in the right space as well, and so simple things like crossing the road can be quite hazardous sometimes if I'm not in the right headspace. But I maintain a level, and most people who meet me and most people who know me couldn't tell that I have a mental health problem unless they really know me, unless they're a real close friend who I get on with and I speak to and I confide in. But that doesn't say I don't have my bad moments and my bad days. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about symptoms of my mental health, because some of them are not accepted by YouTube to mention on a vlog, because they could promote something or a coping strategy that I could suggest I use that might not be good for everybody else. But there is one thing I have that has developed over time. I've had since I was a child, but has developed over time, and is progressively getting worse as I get older, and that's my hallucinations. I have audio and visual hallucinations. They're mainly audio, but sometimes they can be visual. Very rarely visual, but when they are visual, they really stand out and make a big impression. Now, I have a depot for this. I take a depot injection that controls the hallucinations, and it works for about a week. I have it every 2 weeks. It works for about a week or so, and then as the week dissipates, it's slow release. The injection is, so it takes 2 weeks to get into your system and work its way in. So the first week is normally very good. But after that, it seems to get less, and little things start to happen, and you notice little things, and you get distracted by little things and voices and stuff like that. But I tend to cope with it quite well, and I tend to know when I am having a hallucination. I get a sense or a feeling, so I know when I am hallucinating. Sometimes the visual ones don't come with the same sensation, but it's easy to discern that they're a hallucination. It's something that distracts me a lot of the time. It's annoying. I wish I didn't have them, but it's something I've had since childhood, and I've learned to adapt to it and grow with it, and now it's something that I just live with. And that's what I'm trying to say about my mental health. It's something that I live with. It's something that I learn to cope with every day that I'm alive, and it's something that I've learned to live with. And with the help of College Keep here, the mental health unit in Southampton for the central area, with the staff there, with my psychiatrist, with the support workers I've had over the years, I've managed to control what's going on, and I've managed to get by in life and deal with certain situations and to an extent flourish, whereas other people who can't access services the way I've been able to, or are suffering because they're just coming on to the mental health system. And as we all know, the mental health system is not that brilliant in this country. It's sort of seen as the Cinderella service of the NHS, and it's very difficult to get on, and it's very difficult to get treatment. You can be waiting for weeks, months till you actually get seen by anybody, so it can be very difficult. But I've been lucky, whereas I got on to Southampton's mental health unit back in 2001 when I first moved to Southampton, and it's developed from there, and I've managed to improve my situation with the help of the mental health unit. So I've got a lot of praise for them, but I understand a lot of the services we used to have in the past have all been cut. I used to have a duty social worker or a support worker you could go and see on a Wednesday and other days during the week at particular times where you could go and seek support if you were really having a bad situation. That's all gone. Bedford House was the mental health house, as it were, in Southampton. It's where people suffering from mental health situations would go to learn music, do photography, go to support groups, eat in the cafe, just meet general people, do art. That's gone. It's been bulldozed. It's now a car park. So we've lost a lot of our services, especially here in Southampton. We've lost a lot of our services. So they're operating a lot less service than they had when I first sought the help of mental health services in Southampton. But the thing that's interesting me more is the situation with trans mental health that I have to deal with as well. It's really bad. A lot of my friends who are trans, who I associate with in the city, have a lot of difficulty trying to access services, and one of my friends is trying to access services right now, and I wish her all the best luck in the world, and I hope it goes well, because they can be difficult to access, and they can be difficult to sort of get the ball rolling, and especially if you're trans, the services in Southampton don't tend to cater very well for trans people. That's why we have groups like Chrysalis, which I'm a trustee of. Chrysalis 2018, so you have them who support people over the age of 18, so adults with trans issues. They help with counselling, support and stuff like that, and a drop-in on a Thursday once a month to help with relieving their pressure, to get them to meet other people like themselves, and to adapt their confidence at going out and stuff like that. But it's still very difficult, because outside of a group like that, if you're under 18, there's nothing really for you. You can go to Charing Cross, I think, and go through that process. But even there, the waiting times are long, the referral times are long. Trans services are pretty haphazard. There's not a lot of GIC clinics in the country catering for such a large number of people who are starting to come out, and so you have a situation where the service doesn't meet the demand that's out there, and so they're pushed to the core. And they're pushed and pushed and pushed, and it seems to me that the situation is straining now. It's beginning to strain, and I think they need to go back and review the GICs and start opening more clinics in more local areas around the country, especially in Wales. There needs to be one in Wales. I can't remember if one's been opened in Wales recently, but there needs to be one in Wales, and maybe in the future two in Wales, one in the south, one in the north, for the Principality. It's a bit hit and miss. Now, with my situation, if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, you will know that I've seen my psychiatrist recently, and he has managed to write out a letter that he dictated to me, so he would get all the right pronouns and everything correct, because he's not that good sometimes at getting the correct pronouns, which can be annoying. But he's got the letter out there. It's been dictated by it's been dictated to his secretary. His secretary has written out, and that has gone off to Charing Cross or Portland, the Tavistock Institute. I'm not entirely sure what it's called now, and that's gone off to them. And this is the long period now where I will sit back and wait to hear from Charing Cross or Portland and Tavistock to hear back about going forward with my transition. That will be what I'm going to go through. Will be a mind bender, because there's a lot I need to sort out in my head when I go forward for this next part of my transition, and so I wonder if they're going to be able to offer me the support, or whether it'll be a joint support system between Charing Cross and the mental health clinic at College Keep in Southampton. I'm hoping all will go well. I'm hoping my mind will be resolved as to where I want to go in my transition next. It's going to be a big one, but the problems we have with our mental health is that we don't need guidance, we don't need gatekeepers, we need a lot of people to talk to so we can work these things out in our heads. And that's what I've needed over the last few years, and especially over the last few months after my brother's death, after my dad's death in 2017. I've needed to talk to people to work through what's going on in my head. And a lot of my good friends who I want to thank now, I don't know if they'll be watching this, some of them will be watching this. I want to thank you for being there and for listening to me and for helping me sort things out in my head. Now, I'm still a long way off, and I'm still going through a bit at the moment, and I'm still trying to get used to things as they are now. But it can be difficult, and sometimes the slightest things set me off. I'm getting there slowly. I'm sure I'm going to be alright in the long run. They always say you'll be alright in the long run, and I hope that will be the case. But yeah, we have a lot of issues with trans mental health, and it is coupled with mental health services, and it needs more money pumped into it, definitely. But the services are out there and they can be accessed. It's just the demand on them is quite high. We need to be more patient, I think, but that's easily said than done. And some people are in some desperate situations, and some of my friends are in desperate situations, and they really need just to sit down and talk to somebody. And sometimes that's all you want, really, just to sit down and talk to somebody. Let them listen to you and maybe work a few things out in your head. So that's what I wanted to discuss, just stuff on mental health, where I am with mine. As you've noticed, there's no opening or closing credits on this one, because I didn't see the point. It's not a big showy one, it's just me talking about my head. So yeah, that's it. So if you like my vlogs and you're going to go back and watch some more of them that are up online at the moment, comment, like and subscribe if you can. And I'm going to see if this works to switch it off, otherwise I'm going to have to do it manually, because this thing likes to disconnect from the Bluetooth and it can be really annoying. So I'm just going to click it in a minute. So yeah, like, subscribe and comment, and I will see you soon. Goodbye, ducks. Bye.